So today I'm going to show you how to make some Jello cheesecake. It also kind of reminds me of that pretzel Jello salad thing that is delicious. But I love this because you can have the entire pie for only about 250 calories. So you're going to need Fiber One cereal. It's the kind that looks like rabbit food. You're also going to need some cream cheese. I use fat-free. Your choice of Jello. I'm using sugar-free cherry, milk, vanilla protein powder, and kind of optional, but I like to use a little bit of butter spray. So first thing you're going to do is take your cereal. I use 30 grams, and if you want a thicker crust, you could obviously use more, and just grind it up. So I just use my Ninja. You can use a food processor, whatever you have to grind it. Dump that into a bowl. And then you're going to add to that your cream cheese. And I have this just like at room temperature, so it's kind of soft. And then we're just going to mix this up. And I find that it's just a lot easier just to use your hands and mix it up until it's kind of like crumbly crust texture. Alright, so here's what it should look like when you get all of the cream cheese combined. And like I said, if you want a thicker crust, just double the amount of cereal and cream cheese that you use. And then I'm using a pie pan. You could also do it in like a square dish and make them more as like bars instead of a pie. And then you're just going to spread it out and just press it down in. And if it seems too dry, go ahead and add a little bit more cream cheese. But I find that this amount works just fine. Okay, so when you get it all pressed in, this is kind of the optional part, but I think it really adds a lot of good flavor. I just spray it with a couple sprays of fake spray butter. Once again, completely optional, but I think it makes it taste good and it kind of holds the crust together. So once you have that ready, you want to stick this in the freezer, and that'll help it kind of set up a little bit. Right, so while your crust is in the freezer, we're going to mix up the Jello pie part, and we're going to do it kind of according to the directions, but a little bit different. So we're going to take 1 cup of boiling water and just dump that in a bowl, and then you're going to add the entire packet of Jello. And like I said, I'm using cherry, but you can use strawberry, orange, lime. Doesn't have to be sugar-free, but I like to use the sugar-free kind. And then just go ahead and whisk that up until the Jello is all combined. And then once you get the powder dissolved, go ahead and stick this in the freezer just for a couple minutes because we don't want it to be hot when we do the next step. Now we have our crust and our Jello in the freezer. Now we're going to mix up our protein part. So I have in here 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk. You can use regular milk. And I use a shaker just because it's easier, but you could also just mix it up in a bowl. And then add to that 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder. Now I have also used like banana protein powder or orange protein powder. You can get kind of crazy with your flavor combinations, but we're going to keep this one simple. And then just go ahead and shake that up. Now if you're using like Quest protein powder or something that's thicker, either add less protein powder, like just do 20 grams, or just add more milk. Now we have our Jello, which is cool enough now. You really want to make sure it's not hot anymore. And then we have our milk protein mixture. And we're going to add the Jello to the milk without spilling a drop. Once again, you don't need to use a shaker cup, but it makes it so much easier. And then we're just going to give this a couple shakes to get those two combined. Alright, so after you shake it up, you want to let it sit just for a couple minutes. It'll kind of settle, because after you shake it, it'll be kind of foamy. So once it's ready to go, get your crust out of the freezer, and then pour it very, very slowly. And kind of move it around. If you pour it too fast, it could break up the crust, and if your mixture is still at all hot, it'll like melt the crust. So you have to make sure it's nice and cold, and then pour it slowly. Just go ahead and put the whole thing in the fridge, and as soon as the Jello is set, it'll be ready to eat. It takes anywhere from like a ½ hour to an hour, depending on what size pan you use. Here's what it looks like when it's all done. I did already steal a slice, but it only took about 45 minutes to set up. And then I have a piece here to show you what it looks like, so you can see the crust there. Again, you can make the crust thicker, but I think this is plenty. And then you must top it off with Ready Whip, because you can't have Jello or cheesecake without Cool Whip on top. So I love it. I will eat the entire pie, but you could share it, I guess. Jim, would you like to try my pie?
Sure.
I'm gonna be nice and share today. So Jim can tell you what he thinks. Have you ever had this before?
No.
No. Uh-oh.
It's very good.
See,
With
it's very good.
Cherry?
Cherry, yep, cherry, and then the crust and the whipped cream. And you can have the whole pie for only about 250 calories.
What?
What? So, give it a try. Let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching.